Oh, thanks, Jeremy.
Don't tell anybody I said that.
I'll try not to.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, here we are. Episode 18.
18.
Yeah. Episode 18.
6 away from the milestone.
I know. I can't wait.
7, I guess 7.
Yeah, 7.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're doing the 7th, but 7 away from the milestone.
Yep. But I know on the last week I was talking about how, after 2 or 3 weeks, we'd, sit down and figure out a date for the next year's NSB Songwriters Festival. We had that meeting yesterday. So, yeah. So we're already kicking into high gear.
How did this one go, by the way? I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but definitely successful.
Oh, dude, yeah. This one was awesome. I mean, almost every venue that we had was packed. The talent that we had, amazing. I mean, Bridget Tatum, she wrote Jason Aldean, She's Country, Johnny Bulford, Lance Carpenter, Micah Carter, Jordan Rayner. She was on The Voice last year. She was Team Reba. We had the talent was fantastic. And, we did the 2 ticketed shows that went pretty well. And, we got a ton of video.
Raise some money for a good cause.
We did. We raised money for Music Cares. Ended up raising about $5,000 for Music Cares, which is great. We haven't even fit. There's probably more to come. We just haven't finished all the financials at the end of the festival. But yeah, we've already sent a $5,000 check to Music Cares, and more to come once we.
So when's next year's?
Looks like we haven't officially announced it yet, but looking like it'll start November 5th.
Why don't you do it in the summer?
So a lot of the songwriters, when people are on tour, like your Luke Bryans, your Chris Youngs, when they're on tour, a lot of the songwriters will go down and they'll go on the tour bus and they'll write on tour. So while they're on tour and doing all that, it's tough to get them to come, a bunch of them to group in for a Songwriters Festival. Now, Key West does it in May, but they've also, they're the biggest Songwriters Festival in the world. And I did it the first year in 2018 when we did the Songwriters Festival. I did it in May. I did it the week after the Key West. And I was, in my mind, was like, yeah, they'll just want to come drive on the way to Nashville and hit New Smyrna and hit our festival.
Didn't happen, did it?
And I know better because I've been in Key West. I was there for years. And, after the partying they do for 10 days, they don't want to go do anything.
They want to go home. So you had 4 riders that year.
No, it was surprisingly we had a decent amount, but every year it gets bigger and bigger, and and now
we're still a good time. You got to watch out for hurricane season a little bit, but
yeah, we almost got a little bit of a scare when that one was building up. Luckily, Mexico took care of it.
And it took care of it.
Yeah. And we came in the studio this morning.
It was so nice of them.
Yeah.
To walk in the studio.
Some Oregon Spirit.
And they're sitting here like, try me.
I've never tried Oregon Spirit. Have you?
I have not.
No.
I'm about ready to.
But I think it's a good time, and to introduce our guest. We have Anthony with us today. Welcome him to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And
we're taking some shots.
Yeah, we'll welcome you with a nice shot of Oregon Spirit. Yeah.
That's the last time you've been on a podcast that poured you a shot the minute you walked in.
Never. This would be a first.
I like it.
Yeah. Well.
So cheers to Oregon Spirit.
Oregon Spirit.
Thanks for the bottle. We appreciate it. We're going to try this and give a few little words about it. Let's see.
How was it?
It was good.
Yeah?
That was smooth.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Jimmy, are you going to try it?
Yeah, I think Jimmy's time to try too.
Jimmy, we bought you a shot.
All right, let's go, Jimmy. Well, yeah. So, how would you describe this Oregon Spirit? It's
It was smooth. It went down good. You could drink it straight. You don't have to mix it. I mean, a lot of times, you taste certain vodkas and whiskeys and gins. You got to mix that with something. I could drink that straight on the rocks. Nice and smooth. I take it from Oregon.
I would hope so. I think we should look though.
I just appreciate them dropping it off in here for us.
Yeah, super nice. For any of you companies that want to drop off stuff that would be fantastic, we'll always take it.
The address is on the website.
Yeah, the address is on the
You're
website.
so great, Joe. Christmas is right around the corner.
It is. It is. But Anthony, we were talking a little bit downstairs, but I don't remember what episode it was, but episodes ago we were talking about, a lot of the issues that are happening in Edgewater, which has caught national attention, I think, at this point.
It has.
There's been a lot of flooding issues, and it just so happens that it happens to be in my neighborhood, that a lot of this flooding is happening. And, we had Mayor Depew on here, and, a lot of it, what we were talking about on his episode was what the city does for the hospitality industry. And, we went on that route a lot. And then,
Which has surprised me because wasn't there like 25 bars and restaurants in Edgewater?
yeah,
Or 25 or 30 or something like that? 40?
no, there's not that many.
That's
No,
a lot for that town.
Yeah, it's a lot of little ones though. Like if you look on that, like it counts the beer and wine licenses. So your 7-Eleven, your Dollar General, it counts all that too. I don't know, Anthony. To get a roundabout, do you know how many restaurants we have?
I think that you're right about the 25 to 30
Yeah.
range. I know that the majority of our small businesses are hospitality businesses. Most of them that aren't just don't seem to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anthony, what now, you live and work in Edgewater?
I do live in Edgewater, and I guess you could say I technically work in Edgewater, but I work from home. I'm an insurance consultant, so my work isn't exactly here. It's elsewhere.
People calling you from Oregon.
There-
Accidents?
I do have some people that I work with in the Pacific Northwest, but primarily New York and Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And, like I said, we've been talking, Edgewater's gotten national news. So,
Yes.
Anthony, they can go back to the past episodes, and we hope that you will. But, Anthony, why are you here today? Tell us a little about.
So, well, I was kind of called out, right? So I've been going to not the last couple, but there were a series of city council meetings in Edgewater where I brought to attention the city's issues regarding our mayor drinking underage. Now, there are some people that aren't going to see this as an issue. Kids drinking underage is so what? I drank when I was underage. I'm sure you guys drank when you were underage. But really, the difference is that we weren't the mayor of a town, right? We weren't really responsible for.
I was the president of my 8th grade class.
That's pretty
Does that count?
impressive. So you were you wasted as you were?
Wasted, yeah.
All
I
right,
wanted to get Coke machines in there, and I was not doing well. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I see what you're saying.
No, it's one of those things where, honestly, if he was doing a great job and he was having issues with going around, I would still have an issue with him trying to order an alcoholic beverage at a local restaurant because, as you guys well know, that puts your liquor license in jeopardy. That
does.
puts the wait staff in jeopardy. It puts everybody in jeopardy. When you try to come out and have a little bit of fun, you might see it as something that's very innocent, but it's not at all.
So what is the what's the underlying issue? But what is the accusations that they're saying? That he bought an alcoholic beverage out at a restaurant or bar.
So there are several accusations of him buying, but the one that brought me to the city council was him being denied service. He presented a fake identification card, allegedly, because I don't have this identification card. It wasn't retained because, as far as I understand, by Florida law, you are not allowed to retain the ID.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you can't take it anymore.
Should I give out all the ones I have at the bar?
So even if we wanted to, at this point, prove that he had done it, it's going to be very difficult to do so. But the one thing that we can do as the citizens of our community is make noise and hold him accountable. If we know that these things are happening under our noses, because we live in a small town, and even though this allegedly happened in Port Orange, Port Orange isn't really different from Edgewater.
It's not far.
You're talking about a 15-minute drive. That's not a separate place. So 18-year-old kid becomes mayor of city, pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Youngest ever elected official
official.
in Florida. And I'm not going to besmirch him on that. Like, that's something that
amazing.
he should be proud of. And I think that is something that will never be taken away from him, regardless of what the lasting legacy of has happened is. But we also need to recognize that, you know, it's a stupid decision that he made, and we have to hold him accountable for stupid decisions.
Yeah, but not to play devil advocate here, but every government official, I think, has done something. I mean, you name it, Trump, Clinton. I mean, I scandals and Watergate, and I mean, you name it. Now, do they ever get held accountable? Sure. Does it go away? Pretty much.
But
Now, maybe on an upper level, on a big scale like that, it's a lot easier to cover up or go away.
Yeah.
And on a smaller scale, like a commissioner or something like that, a little less easy to go away. But don't you feel it's just going to get dumped under the rug and keep moving?
Of course, and it's already happening already. There's been with these storms over the last couple months a real concerted effort by him and his team to essentially wash his reputation by having him out there, making him very visible. He's working in the community, and also I'm going to say he should be given credit for these things. He is doing these things and should be given credit for these things. But you should also understand the motivation behind what he's doing. I'm never going to say that this equates to like an Epstein, Lolita Express kind of thing. Like, this is not a Trump or Clinton thing, but this is still scale-wise something that's serious for our small town. And though, yes, there are people that get away with this all the time, don't you think that in a society where we have laws, that the only way that you're going to prevent people from breaking those laws in the future is to enforce the laws that exist today?
Yeah.
Sure, but everybody breaks the laws. I'm sure we've all sped. We've all thrown gum out the window.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've all broken 10 laws today at some point.
I mean, how many politicians have been caught with hookers? I mean, it happens. And it's not just politicians. That's any job that you're at, any profession.
But does it affect him doing his job? Going on a Friday night and buying a beer, buying a liquor drink at XYZ bar in Portland, does it affect him doing his job?
I'm so glad that you asked, because I think it does. Now, you could say that it hasn't affected his job because you don't see any direct impact. But what I did see is a pattern of behavior where he was essentially blaming other people for the downfalls of our city.
But I don't know. Anybody blames anybody.
I understand.
Owners blame managers. Managers blame staff. Staff blames the customer. I mean, I'm not trying to argue with you on everything, but we all are going to put the blame on. So hardly ever anybody's going to stand up and say, "Hey, I messed up. I'm sorry. I'll do better." We're going to be like, "Hey, listen, I understand why this happened, and Joe was involved, and Bob was involved, and Ted did this, and that's why we weren't successful. But here's what we're going to do to correct that."
Yeah, but if he doesn't have a plan to correct it, like that's where we have a problem.
Sometimes going away is correcting it.
But the problems haven't gone away. We still have flooding in Florida shores. We still have not wastewater management issues. We still have stormwater management issues. We still have our $90 minimum water bills. We still have. I'm paying $4,500 for my property taxes this year. I don't live in a mansion. Like,
do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how much my tax bill was this year for my property taxes. I live in
mine was 27.
I live in a 1,700 square foot home. I don't live in a mansion.
Yeah.
Everything's gone up. Prices have gone up on food, on gas, on taxes, on everything. So why are we assuming that it's the mayor's fault that taxes are going up?
Here's the thing and this is just my opinion on the issues that we have in Edgewater, because developing, the overdevelopment, and it's not really overdevelopment. I don't think it is. There's plenty of room.
Irresponsible.
It's irresponsible development.
Yeah.
And
but
none
that's
of
not
this
his decision.
It's not to blame of him.
Where's the building instructor? Inspector. Where are these people? I mean, look at Daytona Beach Shores. I'm sorry, South Daytona. Every time that flood, right there on Bevel, completely underwater. They're allowing these new buildings to be built. They're skipping over surveys and stuff like that because a couple $100,000 extra are thrown in there in a donation or a city. So again, not defending, but how is that the mayor's fault? But before he was even in there, the building inspectors, the health inspectors, all these people, I'm not quoting this, getting not caring, not getting bribes, not do what they're doing. So what can he do to change it? Go start knocking down buildings, build, that. I mean, but then all that's going to do is make your water bill go from $90 to $130 because someone's going to have to pay for that. It ain't going to be him out of his pocket. The city's going to pay for it. Where's the city make their money? Property taxes, water bills, like all that stuff is where they get it. So I feel that you want this stuff changed, or we all want. I don't live in.
Yeah,
we all
I
want
want
it
it
changed.
changed.
But do you want to pay a $130 water bill? Do you want your property taxes to be $7,000?
My water bill was $243.
I would have
You understand? You understand?
I know what
You
you're
understand my theory.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a 20-30% increase on your taxes and your water bill to fix these?
If my neighbors didn't flood every 2 years, then I would be willing to pay more. I don't know if I would be willing to pay $7,000 for my property taxes, but I would be willing to invest into the infrastructure to make sure that my community didn't get devastated every single time a hurricane came through, or even an afternoon shower. We flooded waist deep just from an afternoon thunderstorm.
Yeah.
This is not
Waist deep?
Waist deep.
And some of the
You were canoeing at the last
I was
one.
canoeing.
Yeah, that was just a thunderstorm. So I just want to go back to when I say that he was blaming other people.
Yeah.
Just to say what
Yeah.
So from the moment he got in, he was trying to find someone else to blame for the issues of this because he had no vision for the city. He came in, and his crowning achievement has been essentially building this new city center right off of 442. That's pretty much the only thing that he's gotten past of any real substance. This 80+ acre piece of property that's going to be developed into like a new police department, new fire station, all that. Okay. Ever since then, he has been basically told by the city manager, the ex-city manager now, okay, so what do you want to do now? What do you want to actually do with the city? Because, obviously Hurricane Ian came through. That was one of the biggest things that he campaigned on. He was talking about his grandmother's house flooding to the countertops and campaigning on this being an issue that he cared about. He had no vision for what to do about this. So he kept on asking the city manager what his vision is. The thing is, though, a city manager is a city bureaucrat that doesn't actually have a responsibility to give a vision. The vision is supposed to be presented by the elected officials, that being the mayor and the council of the city. Now, collectively, about a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, the council and the mayor decided that they were going to scapegoat the city manager and get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that he was the best city manager on the planet. I don't honestly, I don't really care.
We don't know what happened behind closed doors.
Exactly.
We don't.
People get fired and hired all the time.
Exactly.
For crazy reasons and reasons that don't make sense.
But then after this last storm that came through, they did the same thing to the city engineer. And they're going to do it the next time a storm comes through. They're going to find somebody to point the finger at.
Well, we have until next March or next June, July, August.
But that's what happens when you have a teenager or an adolescent in power, is they're never going to take responsibility because they don't have any plan. They don't have any experience to develop a plan. They don't really have the education.
So if you don't
They
have an
any-
education, why don't they bring on somebody that does?
I
A lot
would
of
love to.
like Trump has aides. Trump has military generals that know more than he does, and he brings on a team of people that do the research, do this, find out this.
That's actually
There
something
you go.
we were discussing when we came in. The budget for the city of Edgewater is just so limited that they can't really afford to bring in experts every single time there's an issue. If we had more money, then I'm sure that we could afford to have these
But
experts
how do you get
come
more
in.
money?
How do you get more money? You raise taxes.
Yeah.
But
Or
you
you
just
have
no
said
one
your-
wants to raise
more
taxes.
but you
development.
just said
Or
your
develop-
property
Yeah.
taxes was $4,500.
Exactly. But here's the thing.
So
my
why don't they do
complaint-
more head bed tax? Why don't they do more taxes on industry? Like what was that water park or skate park supposed to be built there?
There was supposed to be a
Yeah,
skate
there's
park.
supposed
yeah.
to be a skate park.
But honestly, I don't have an issue with taxes going up. There's something I just want to tell you. I am left-leaning. I'm an independent. I'm no party affiliation, but I am left-leaning. I think that taxes can be good. However, I see now that my taxes are going to nothing. I see now that there's no stormwater management system in my community, even though I'm paying for one. I see that there is effectively a I want to say like an abandoned US 1. Like there are so many vacant storefronts that the area needs to be revitalized.
Well, that's everywhere though.
entirely.
You go drive down A1A, you've got almost the same thing in Daytona.
Now, Edgewater is doing the revitalization of storefronts. They are giving grants and all that. So, I
I've
mean,
seen
they
that.
are, they are getting approved. So that is happening. You know, nothing in government happens fast.
No, nothing in government happens fast. I have seen the grants. They're given out to like 1 or 2 businesses a month, something along those lines. They're usually to existing businesses.
Yeah,
they're
they are.
They're not to new businesses bringing them in, which I think doesn't really serve the purpose. If you're trying to bring new businesses in and fill those vacant spots with those grants.
See,
Mostly.
and think about this. Say I had my place in Edgewater, like my business, and they're doing this revitalization, which is awesome. As you know, right now, with everything so high, profit margins for owners are down, and that's not just restaurant; that's everywhere. You know, but you know, if I'm sitting there going, "Wow, now they're only giving it to new businesses," what about the guy that's been here for 20 years? Why can't I get a grant for a storefront?
I understand. And honestly, I want to say that like I have no problem with you also getting a grant for
Yeah.
an older business. It's that they should be going to new businesses as well as old businesses.
How many new businesses are moving into Edgewater
None that I know of. I saw Taco Bell. We got Taco Bell.
Yeah, we did get a
and,
Taco Bell.
recently?
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And what are they? They're adding another chain. I forgot which one, but we're getting another chain fast food restaurant of some kind.
But they got to make it enticing to move in.
Yeah.
New businesses. I
Yeah.
mean, the Edgewater is a different breed of city.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got to make it enticing. Why am I going to open up a Papa John's there or a Pizza Hut if I can't do business? If I can't get to business? And it's hard because I think Edgewater is up and coming, and I think it's got a little halt on it right now. But so does it get everything. A1A is the same way. You drive down A1A from Daytona Beach right here down to the Daytona Beach shores. I would say 1 out of every 3 of those storefronts, there's something's closed, something's out of business, going out of business. I think it's just our time. It's our world, and I don't think we can blame one person. And I like your ideas. Why don't you take your ideas and why can't we pitch them to the city?
Oh, I
he's
talk
trying.
to people all the time. I really do. They don't want to listen to me though. At least the people that support Depew.
So now I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
But you know, like I support him. I've known the mayor, you know, since he was a kid. You know, he cut my grass when he started his business. You know, he started at a very young age learning business. And you know, I was amazed because I talked to him a lot when he would come over to cut the grass. He's smart business wise. Can he learn more? Sure, anyone can. You know, but anytime you're starting a new job, you know, unless you're an ex-mayor, you don't. You know, you're not prepared for that job. Trump said it on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said, "I didn't know what to do." He's like, "Now I do." He's like, "But I had to bring in a bunch of people that were not looking out for the best interest." And I mean, that happens. It's a learning curve, you know, for sure. Now, I get what you're saying because he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't. But at the end of the day, it is who was voted in. Just like when Trump had no experience, he was voted in. And, you know,
But don't you think Trump did a great job?
I think Trump did good things. I think there's a lot of, I mean, both ways. I mean,
You're
there's
never going to like what anybody does.
not 100%.
Even look at the hospitality
No,
business.
never.
You've had great bartenders. You love 9%. There's always one thing. You could have done that differently.
Oh, yeah.
You dropped that plate. You didn't have to do this. There's always something that you're not going to like about somebody. And when you're in the spotlight like that, as a Trump or a mayor or anything, it's going to be even more because everybody's scrutiny on everything you do.
And you have no idea how slow local government works because you know when a couple people asked me to run for city council, and I think you made me the poster. Yeah, he
Vote
made me
for
the
Joe.
poster, and I was gonna do it, and I got, you know, I went and talked to people that were in that, and I got kind of like an insider view of what that would be like. And honestly, and this was before Diesel was mayor. I was, you know, going in before that, and it was such a cluster of the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing. And I looked at it and I said, honestly, I don't have the amount of time that I would have to put in to be able to help.
So you run for mayor every 4 years, correct?
Yes. So he's up for an election
2 years.
in 2 years.
Are you running?
If I
It's
don't
the
see,
best way to do it.
yeah, if I don't see a candidate up there that I believe in, I will.
Why
I will
run it? You have some of the answers. It sounds like some of the things that are dear to you. Why don't you run for mayor? If you don't, and that's a nice part. You can't really run for presidency.
Mostly because I know that the people of Edgewater and I don't exactly politically align.
but look how many people hated Trump.
Oh, I
And
understand.
Trump got in. There was no way he was going to beat Hillary. No way. And look who won.
Well, no.
Sometimes negative can turn into a
Yeah,
positive.
yeah, I can.
If you listen to the media, there is no way he was going to beat Hillary.
Yeah.
But I think if you talk to any normal person, like she was despised. Like
She was.
There's a difference between what's on the internet or what's on like the TV and what's happening when you're talking to a normal person. Diesel, if you talk to a normal person in Edgewater, they love Diesel for the most part because they don't pay attention to what's going on at the city council meetings. They don't see that. I don't know if I should call him out by name. I'm going to. So Chuck Martin. I don't know if you are aware
I
of
don't
Chuck
know.
Martin. Chuck Martin shows up at pretty much every single council meeting. He gets up there and he rants. Sometimes he'll talk about how he's eating his Slim Jim and drinking his Diet Coke, and I can't believe I had to drag my ass down here after a hard day's work kind of thing. But what he has been known for, at least in my eyes, is he tends to be the first wave for anything that Diesel wants to do. So when I talked about getting rid of the city engineer, the first person to breach that subject at the city council meetings was Chuck Martin. And then not too long after, the city engineer was gone. When Glenn Irby was ousted as city manager, Chuck Martin also did that. I don't know if you saw the videos of the
Chuck
gentleman.
Martin's for him or against him?
He's for him. I don't know if you saw the videos of the gentleman that threatened to beat the crap out of me at a city council meeting.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was also Chuck Martin.
You have to run.
No, I'm just
You
saying.
have to run. Like you have everything against you, but that's sometimes the greatest thing.
But I don't want violence. I
No,
It's not violence. I mean,
Well,
literally,
it
I
can
had
turn into.
what is
my-
somebody going to TP your house? I mean,
My girlfriend literally had a death threat sent to her not last month, but the month before. Like someone sent her a text message
talking
saying,
about Edgewater here.
Yeah.
saying that they would kill her and her family. And this is unacceptable. And I have been staying off of social media and staying away from the city council meetings because that was how bad it got. But once things died down a little bit, like I'm happy to come out here and talk to you guys.
And none of those threats are the fault of the mayor at all.
I'm not saying that
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is his
I know. I
fault
just wanted
entirely.
to clear it. I just wanted to clear that.
But
yeah.
I am saying that when the mayor allows Chuck Martin to speak uninterrupted and make threats of violence towards me at a city council meeting, that is his fault. That is the mayor's fault.
Oh, technically, that should be on the cops.
No, actually, he has to call the cops to withdraw, to actually have Chuck withdrawn from the meeting. So he was the one that was responsible for calling for Chuck Martin to be removed, but he did not. So that is definitely Diesel's fault. Now, could we say that it's simply that he's a kid and he didn't know any better and he didn't know how to run that meeting? He didn't want to kick out a family friend because he is a friend of Depew's
Very well could
family.
be. Yeah.
It could be any of those things.
I think you need to run. You make national news.
I mean, I've already made national
well,
news
you know what I'm saying?
tangentially.
Yeah.
National news.
Jimmy Kimmel called him out on his Florida Man segment. So like, I feel like I'm.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
missed that.
Jimmy Kimmel does his This Week in Florida segment, and Diesel made This Week in Florida, and I mean, I wasn't featured in that, but he wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for me drawing attention to him. So I feel accomplished. This has gotten bigger than I ever anticipated it would ever get.
So what's the next step? Do you keep pushing? Do you run for mayor? Do you run for city council, or do you just say, you know what, I can't change anything. I'm just gonna wrap it up and go back to my business and my family?
Oh, I'm not giving up. I'm definitely going to keep pushing. Now, what form that takes, I don't know. If that's going to be me actually running, or if that's going to be me supporting someone else that runs, or what have you. It could just simply be community organizing, for all I know.
You know, and running for city council, I think would help. You know, anytime you get a voice in there, and like I said, I would have done it. It just I saw the amount of time that it would have taken,
Joe,
and
you
I
need to
don't
run.
have it.
You need to run.
What district are you?
two that changed. 3, I think now.
3. Okay.
It just it got elected on this year,
Wasn't that 2?
or maybe 2. Yeah,
So
2.
it was Gigi and Mike Thomas.
Yeah, Gigi
Yeah.
is who
That's-
I would have
that's
been
my
running
district
against.
as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's who I would have been running against. And
Yeah. Well, we got Mike Thomas now, which people have mixed feelings about.
yeah.
Joe, you're got to run in 2 years. Come on.
Here's the thing.
Vote for Pedro. I mean, vote for Dro.
I'll vote for Joe.
Well, thank you.
Joe,
I
you got
appreciate
2
that.
votes right here. I don't live in Edgewater, but hey, I'll vote for you.
Yeah, maybe. It's a couple years away.
Remember that whole Facebook thing I did for you?
Yeah, you did my vote, Joe Ryan.
Vote Joe
Yeah, I
Ryan.
know. I know.
First there was, George Washington. Now there's Joe Ryan. I mean, who doesn't want that in their campaign?
I like 2 first names. It's a sign of someone you can trust.
But honestly, city council meetings in
Ryan.
in my opinion, city council meetings are pointless. All it is a bunch of people screaming at each other. Nothing ever gets accomplished. And, I miss the days where you could sit down and, have a drink and have, obviously not, he's underage, so not him, but,
Have a drink. Joe,
Give him a
great
Shirley
way to
Temple.
put that one in here.
But,
hey, the days you can sit down and have a drink and discuss some politics and business.
Yeah. But you used to be able to kind of sit down and have a civil conversation. You used to be able to, all right, here's the issue. All right, it is an issue that is affecting everyone in that neighborhood. There's not anyone that lives there. It's like, this isn't a problem. Okay.
So bring up the facts.
So yeah, let's bring up the facts. Let's bring up the fact that all of us need this to get better. So come as a team. Let's get together. Let's sit down. Let's figure out how. The why? Who fucking cares at this point? It's over.
But you just said it's too much work. That's
That's
why
what I'm saying.
True.
Other people should do this.
You should do it.
I think the biggest problem is it's like herding cats, because you can have the best of intentions going in there, but everyone has their own motives. And from what I can tell, at least 45% of the people are always going to have some sort of corrupt
But that's
intention.
any business anywhere.
Yeah, it is.
We have it at any hospitality business. You name a business that doesn't have some sort of corruption, some sort of little cool kids versus the not cool kids, somebody taking money here, putting money here, all the way up the ladder to all the way down the ladder. It's every business. I think we tend to forget that the government is a business.
It is.
It's a 100% business. So why would he lie? It's a business. Our bosses all have lied to us at some point.
Yeah.
Hey, well, everything's good. We're selling, and then all of a sudden, bam, you find out the business is selling.
Yeah.
Or this. Like, we've all lied in business to protect ourselves or protect something. Why do we think the government should any different? They should be honest. Never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen. It's a business. And once we decide that the government and this stuff is a business, I think it'll be understandable. You don't yell at Papa John's because they lied.
No.
We don't yell at, I mean, you have to. your
But there's a
bartenders come
different
in-
level there.
No. It's all the same.
I might be an idealist, but I do think that there is a certain expectation that you should have of the governing body to be a little bit more upfront and transparent than Papa John's, personally.
But
But
look at our government.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
our government,
Our
no,
government takes funds from the hurricane and puts it into Ukraine. And that all got covered up, got talked about, got covered up, whether it happened, it didn't, but it went away.
And
yeah.
if the funny thing is, all of that, because everyone says, oh, they hid this. It's all public knowledge. It's there. You just have to comb through thousands of pieces of paperwork to find, everything that's in there. But
You can't lose $1 billion.
no.
They'll tell you where the $1 billion is. It just got allocated the other way because everybody's too busy looking at other stuff, which is why political things happen or certain things happen to draw your attention away from what's happening. I'm a firm believer that things like the P. Diddy scandal was to draw us away from something real.
No, it's
COVID was to draw us away from something real. The wars with them. I'm not saying they're not happening. I'm not saying P. Diddy didn't do what he did or didn't do, but so much news about it, so much this. So what's going on over here?
yeah.
While I'm so worried about what Pete Diddy and what he did and who he did and how he did and the baby oil and 10 bottles of scotch. While everyone's focused on this, this is where they're passing rules over here. And they're putting $1 billion into Ukraine. And they told you what they did. Just everyone's too busy worried about P. Diddy.
No, I agree entirely because you have, like things like Nancy Mace right now is making a big to do about the first transgender member of the House of Representatives using the same bathroom as her. All the while, Netanyahu has had an arrest warrant filed against him by the International Criminal Court. And Biden just negotiated a ceasefire deal with Netanyahu between Israel and Hezbollah. Like, these are much bigger issues, but if you turn on Fox News right now,
It's about transgender rights.
you're going to see transgender rights.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely, but we also need to keep in mind that, like, the information is out there. If you're an educated person that knows where to look for the information, it's there, and we can have these sorts of conversations about the issues that actually matter if you just ignore all of that garbage.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying
Garbage
to
is
do.
what makes the world go round.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do here is I'm trying to cut through the garbage, and I'm trying to say, like, hey, this is what actually
Where's your
happened.
factual website then?
Where's my factual
Yeah.
website?
I like what you're saying.
I
Do you
released.
have a website? Do you have a blog? Do
No,
you have,
I
you
released
have-
all of my receipts on my social media. It is a private Facebook, but I can go ahead and make that public for people.
What about a blog? Or what about a website? Or what about coming on and talking more about the issues and the things, educating the people?
Hell,
Don't let them get stuck in the P Diddy.
Maybe I'll start a podcast like you guys.
Wait a minute here. Calm down.
See, like I really don't want to run for mayor by any means. Please no. But
Mayor
I'd,
Ryan, I like it.
I'd be all right moderating an issue. You know, if that's something that anyone would be a
Hospitality
child
people would
moderate.
be the best mayors if you think about it. We have to deal with that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We have to solve a problem on a daily basis. We have to raise money with no money. We have to hire and fire people every 5 minutes. We have to scold everybody. We have to deal with the public we have to deal with the Karens and the
Oh, yeah.
Dougs of the world. You would be a good, come on, next mayor.
Yeah, especially with all the organizing that you were doing. You were just talking about the Songwriters
Yeah.
Festival. Like, yeah, you could do this. Eyes closed.
We'll start I got a good campaign manager. We'll start next week.
God, come on. You guys are killing me.
We believe in you, Joe.
You got 2 years.
You want to make a change.
No, I don't want to make the change. I would just like the change to happen.
Oh, you'd like to be the change. That's what you're
There
saying.
you go. Joe Ryan, be the change.
Yeah.
You guys are killing me.
like
He's
it.
going to make it a meme tomorrow.
I'm fine with that.
I'm already having your
You're already
yard
starting my
signs-
campaign?
Your yard signs are already started.
Well, if we're going to run, at least let's go for governor. You know,
You got to start with mayor, then governor.
Comptroller.
Yeah.
Go for something that no one's ever heard of before, no one wants to run for, and then you can get your foot in the door.
So you ever heard about these hospitality mayors?
well, so New
Orlando
Smyrna
had
had
one.
one.
Did New Smyrna have one?
Yeah, Adam. It was years ago.
They don't have any more?
No, Fred's the mayor now.
No. There was somebody hired as like a hospitality representative.
Oh no, a restaurant owner in New Smyrna was the mayor at one point.
No. Like Orlando, downtown Orlando, hired like a government official to deal with hospitality.
Oh, like a cabinet member?
Like almost like
Kinda-
a cabinet member.
Like, is this the Chamber of Commerce? or
No,
something?
not Chamber of Commerce. Like they literally, it's
They're
kind of
actually a
like
city
like
employee?
how you. It's like a city employee,
Okay.
but they're to deal with all the hospitality. Since Florida is big on hospitality,
Yeah, it's huge.
you know. So hospitality manager
See, I could do that.
Yeah. Hospitalities
come
are.
in there drinking a beer at the student city council. Like, it's what I do.
Why don't you
my
just
feet up.
take a drive down to Mar-a-Lago, ask Trump if you can be his hospitalities are.
See, I would, I'll have to DM him. I DM'd him about coming on the show. He just never responded.
We had him on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
remember?
what are you talking about? I saw a little bit of that episode. You got a good get.
Yeah, Daytona Trump is hilarious. That was so fun.
I had him at my event a week ago for the Bam Margera one.
Yeah.
I had him upstairs. It was great. He did a great job. Everybody likes him.
How did that go?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Had over 300 people there on the rooftop, and it was fun. It was good. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, because we split a party too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Came over to you, and the after party was upstairs.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's a good time.
That's good business.
I love those parties.
Yes.
Take those all day.
Take 3 more of those a month.
Hopefully there isn't a Joe Ryan for mayor thing running
Joe
around.
Ryan for mayor. It's coming out next week.
Oh, I'm gonna kill you.
Watch it get like on the ballot.
Not even
run.
trying.
Like Mickey Mouse.
But I did, there was something I wanted to talk about, but I want to hit something first. Before I came up to the studio, I went to McDonald's, grabbed a burger, just something quick. And, normal, put the order in, this is what you got, pay for it, boom. But as I went to pick up the food, the person at the window, so happy. Like I almost felt like I knew
Chick-fil-A
her.
happy?
Yeah. And like it
Like it's my pleasure happy?
yeah, and it kind of changed my mood for the better.
Because we've talked about it. Fast food has got the worst
Yeah.
experience or customer service I think there is.
Yeah, whoever this girl was at McDonald's, like you made.
Why'd you bring her
it a
on the
great
show?
experience?
Just bring her on the show.
I was gonna be like, thanks for the burger. Hey, hop in. I'm gonna take you on this
I've
podcast.
seen crazier things happen.
That's very true.
Hop in. We're going on a podcast.
But I was just so excited that there's still a little bit of customer service in there, man. A little bit.
A little bit.
And it's a kind of great segue to Bear Robotics.
Robotics. So our robot's going to take over the hospitality industry.
So I've gotten, and I found that, how Facebook has sponsored ads all the time, and it's usually about what you've talked about. And, we've talked about robots. We've talked about how there are these systems out there. But this is the first time I've seen one on my, my sponsored Facebook ads. So all right, I'm going to look into it. So what this thing does, it's basically like a food runner, and it can be a busser. It has a bus tub on it, but it has 2 levels to where the expo puts the food at. Boom, you tell it what table to go to, and it goes.
And it's got a program, and then it goes table number 5. Mm-hmm. And then the customer grabs their own food,
Yep.
and then you call it back to the kitchen.
Yep.
I think it'd be cool, but I don't know if we've gone to that yet.
Well, so I think the reason behind this would be, food runners. It's hard to find some
Maybe
of
at
those
like a
some of those
steak and
jobs.
shake, maybe like a steak and shake. I could see it.
Yeah.
Or maybe at like Moe's Burritos or something like that, where
Yeah.
it's a fast casual, where you order and then they call your number back up to the window.
Yeah.
That I could see. Instead of saying your number, you'd put a number of a table you're at, and then you would bring it to that table.
Yeah. So
I could see a lot going wrong with that.
oh yeah. I mean, with anything mechanical, you're gonna have issues. You're gonna have to fix.
Charlie broke down between table 7 and 13.
The food's cold now.
Food's cold. Replace it.
And I was like, all right, well, this is something that could be in the future. I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
But are they cost effective?
See, that's where I was thinking maybe it would be. If this is coming up on a Facebook ad, if there's really pushing it, it probably should be effective, right? Like, we're going to show you a little video right now so you can watch it.
All it was basically a busser to take the food to the table. Do you see they still
Yeah,
took
it's
it on
just
the
a
table?
food runner and a busser.
And did you see the one dad pulled the entire plate of spaghetti off and put it in front of his 8-month-old son?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't set up.
But I get what they're trying to go for.
It's not a terrible idea. Instead of a server carrying the tray out there,
Yeah.
that would just take the food out there where she or he would be right behind them to give to the tree, put the trash or extra bottles in the thing,
Yeah.
take any appetizer plates back. But at what cost?
Yeah, well,
I mean, a couple $100 a month, sure. $3,000 a month for that? I wouldn't do it.
So here's the cost breakdown on it. From what I was reading, they say $999 a month. They also try and throw in there that it's $2 something an hour that you pay for this robotic employee. It's not an accurate description unless you're open 24 hours. If you are a diner, sure, yes, it would work at that rate.
And let me ask you this too. What about, different levels? You have different levels at your restaurant.
Yeah.
And different things to go over.
Yep.
Most restaurants aren't just a flat piece of land anymore.
Yeah.
So it has to go around tables and chairs. It doesn't go upstairs.
It does not go upstairs.
And
It would
what
have to be
about little
single
lips?
level.
Like, when you have an outside area, it wouldn't be able to go outside over the door frame.
So they do have spring loaded on the wheels, so it can go over humps and like it can go over a speed bump.
Okay. So it probably could go outside to a table on your patio or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool for the house, to be honest with you, or something. Have an entertainment at the house, or maybe a Moe's or a Chipotle or something like that. But I don't see like fine dining restaurants or sushi places, for example, buying one of those or two of those to have them deliver your food to the table. Because, also the customer service part of it is where you ask, is there anything else I can get you? There's no upselling or reselling. Hey, can I get some Parmesan cheese with that? Or can I get more bread or more of this? Like, you're losing the hospitality. I think it would only be good for fast casual.
Yeah. I don't think, say I was wanting to bring that in, it would end up costing, with no repairs, $9.32 an hour for the hours that I'm open. Like if it
$9.30 an hour.
Yeah. So at that point, you could, pay a food runner that gets tips the same, and you're going to get a lot more out of a person than you are that robot. So I don't think it's there. Now, if this was something and it was like, hey, $1,000 or even $2,000 and it's yours, no monthly fee, then cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but anything built wants the monthly fee. That's where you gain the residuals.
Yes.
That's where everything is in the monthly fees. Gym memberships, $25 a month, residual. 500 members, 5,000 members, that's where they make their money. So if they were to sell that outright to you, it'd be 10, 20 grand.
Yeah. And even for that, that's not a bad price.
Would you spend $10,000 on that robot?
Not right now, no.
Would you ever spend $10,000 on a robot to take your grilled cheese to the table number 7?
Well, think about would you pay someone $15 an hour to go run the food?
The servers more run the food these days. You need a food runner.
Yeah.
And then you can also cut when it's busy or slower and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not against the robot error that's coming in for a lot of things. I just don't think it's going to do everything that a human being can do. Again,
it won't.
A steak and shake, I think that'd be great for you. You go to the counter and order. They put in your order. They put it on little Sandy, the robot. Sandy, the robot, takes it out to number 4, your burger, your fries, your soft drink, and calls it a day. So a fast casual place, I think that'd be great.
Steak and Shake actually already has this for curbside pickup. Not that I don't know if it's Bear Robotics, but some Steak and Shakes have a robot for curbside pickup that delivers it.
Again, great for curbside pickup because you're dropping off a couple of boxes, they're pulling it in, and that's it. Until someone puts that robot in the back of their car and you see it bleeping going down A1A. But I don't know if it's going to take over. I mean, it's a cool concept. I think it might work for certain restaurants and certain establishments, but
yeah,
I don't see it being something that every restaurant is going to go to, from fast casual to fine dining.
I mean, look at a fine dining place. They're not going to. They don't want the guests grabbing the plate themselves.
No.
You don't want that.
So again, fast casual. I wouldn't even think a Burger King or a Taco Bell would make any sense for.
Do people even really eat inside like Burger Kings and Taco Bells
And if they
anymore?
do, it's right there to the window. Because by the time they told you to go take a seat, enter that
it's
number,
done anyway.
Right, it's done anyway.
Yeah.
But the fast casual places could be decent.
I think it might be badass at a diner.
Again, you're losing it. Once you bring my eggs and bacon and sausage, and now I want ketchup, server's got to come anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's just a mobile hostess or a food.
It's a food runner. That's what it is. It's a food runner.
Right.
Now, I do the one thing.
But
I
the
did
food
like,
runner isn't the most expensive in an establishment.
No, it's minimum
Food
wage.
runner is a $10 an hour. In Florida, it's a $10 an hour employee plus tips.
Yep.
So you said that thing costs $9.28 an hour.
Yeah.
Plus if it breaks down, plus if something happens. Cool concept, not crazy expensive, but I would just rather pay Timmy $10 an hour.
Oh, at that
plus
price
tips
point,
for
yeah.
6 hours and not have to keep him for 8 hours or 10 hours.
But what if it gets to that point that's costing you $1.80 an hour? and it's that much of a savings.
I don't think that right now, until look at like the new iPhone, when it came out, it was, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they've gone down. So once they get out there in this, could it? Sure. Would it be a cool thing to have as hey, I'm the first one in Daytona to have one of these? Yeah. But I don't think it'll ever go anywhere.
Now, think on this aspect. You say the first one in Daytona, it would be cool to have it. The first one to do it is going to get so much hate. People, like the public, is going to hate that. Because what it is...
Because the Daytona mentality or just in general?
I think in general. They're going to
So
hate the
let's try
fact
it.
that they're going to
Let's
see
order-
that as someone...
Is there a long-term contract?
I don't know. Maybe Bear Robotics. Send us one to try. We'll talk about it on the show, see how it works. I don't think they send you a free sample. So, I mean, I would love to try it to see how it works. I just don't, I don't think it's
the programming
yet.
that has to go into that to know where the tables are. You got to remember,
Yeah.
it's going to take a couple hours to program that thing.
So what it does, it's each table has like a little sensor, and it's attached to the table.
Now, the sensors cost money extra. It
looks like it comes with it.
It comes with like 100 little sensors. So I tell it to go to number 7, knowing that table's
Yep.
number 7, and bam, it sensors that table. Now, so watch out for people and kids
It does.
and dogs.
It's more advanced than the Roomba.
Let's get one. Try it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to try it. I don't, like I said, for me, I don't think it's cost effective at this point. But I mean, I'm sure there's restaurants that it is.
But if it's a robot like that, obviously it's expensive, and I guarantee you that $1,000 a month is a 3-4 year contract.
Probably.
I mean, you figure $1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. You figure it's probably at least a 3 to 4 year contract.
Yeah.
$50,000 for something like that, I would think. And then if it breaks, is it under contract? If it stops moving, does
Yeah.
it go from Wi-Fi? What if your Wi-Fi is down?
So I don't think it works off the internet.
You don't think?
I don't think. I didn't
How does it has to communicate?
buy the transmitters.
Transmitters should run off of Wi-Fi.
No, walkie-talkie, you don't need Wi-Fi to transmit.
Be easier.
Probably. Again, that's...
I think it's a cool thing to try, but I just don't see it taking over. And every restaurant you're gonna go is gonna have that.
No, I don't either. And like I said,
What are they selling? I mean, they selling like crazy.
that I don't know. It just popped on my Facebook today.
And you're gonna buy one, aren't you?
Now, it's not worth it. Not for me. It's just not. And
Okay, so name an industry or name a restaurant locally that you think it would work for.
I think it'd be great for diners.
A breakfast diner.
Yeah. Where you're not
But
expecting.
remember, you still have to have somebody load that thing and then hit the button and then call it back.
Well, you have an expo there anyway.
An expo anyway, but expo
Yeah.
becomes your food runner half the time. How many times your expo your food runner?
I mean, this time of year they're doing it all the time, but during season, no. Like I have food runners and expos.
I just see a lot of things that could go wrong. I have to see it face to face and see one work
yeah.
and see how it's programmed and how many hours. And I mean, once it charge, how long is that? Also, the battery. How long does the battery last?
12 hours.
Okay. So if you charge it up, take it off at 10 in the morning. I have till 10 at night.
Yeah.
So you're open from what time to what time?
11 to 9.
So you would pretty much make it the entire day.
I'd be able to
and
make
then have
it.
to plug it in every night.
If that battery stayed.
And if it's a lithium-ion battery, the battery's going to be gone within a year.
Yeah.
Your cell phone battery.
Oh, yeah.
Within a year, your
Mine
battery's
doesn't
already
even last a year.
Yeah. By then it's 100% battery, and then it's 90%, and then it's 87%, and then it just keeps going down. And year and a half, 2 years later, you're only getting 70% of your battery. So what does that battery cost to replace?
Yeah. Now, well, I would think with monthly, anytime it's usually covered. Like remember the POSs when you used to lease them, like your Micros, your Aloha, you used to lease them and you'd pay per month. That way, if anything broke, they'd just replace it. They would. I mean, it's not like that anymore.
No, but
especially
everything
with
got
Toast,
away from that because everybody was replacing it. Now they give it to you for
Yeah.
free, supposedly, but you have to sign that 5-year contract,
Yeah,
$600 a month type of thing. So they're making $50,000 per place.
yeah,
Then they're getting, the real thing, they're getting your credit card processing,
yeah.
and that's where they're making majority of their money.
Oh God, yeah. Like it Toast.
It's not the system.
No.
Everybody thinks the POS systems, most of them are free or a couple
Mm-hmm.
$100 to get and then install. I mean, $1,000 you got a new one, but it's the 5-year contract, and they want to know how much credit card processing you do.
Yeah.
And that 2.3% every day, daily goes right into their account.
Yeah.
It's all about residual.
Yeah.
How do I make something daily and have to do very little?
My 5-year contract with Toast actually comes up in February.
What are you doing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm in a really good rate right now. I was one of the first restaurants in this area to bring in Toast.
You should be one of the first restaurants to bring in the robot.
No, it's not. I
think you should do it.
Like I said, it's not really worth it for me. I would try it for free, but it's just not really worth it. But I'm not saying it wouldn't be in the future. But right now, and I truly believe people are the difference. And, I said this 2 weeks ago. People do matter, and people can, robots can't do everything.
I think they're good for factories. I think they're good for non-human interaction. You're putting together a PC computer. I think a robot could do that. There's no human interaction. You just got to put the right piece in the right spot, seal it, glue it, stamp it, whatever you do, and it's done.
But you're still taking away jobs at that point, too. But are they jobs that people don't want to do? Are they jobs that aren't, take a company, a big company. Is that job, paying someone what they would have to pay, is it worth it? And I think that's where these companies get into is it worth it to hire someone when I can have a machine do this? And I get that. People are expensive, but you got to have a little bit of faith in people. You have to. There has to be that. Like I said with that customer service at McDonald's, it changed my whole mood for the day. A robot's not going to do that. No, people are. But if people get too expensive, I don't know where there's a balance. How does it correct itself? Wait, what?
Sweet.
But we do, because we are running low on time, but we do a segment at the end of every show called Come On, Karen. Come on, Karen.
Come on, Karen.
Okay.
So we take different, we'll get random reviews that people send to us, and we'll pick one out, and then we'll just kind of dissect it a
Restaurant
little bit.
reviews.
I love it. I'm all about it. Hopefully you don't pick one of mine.
Do you do a lot of restaurant
I was going to say, if you were there, I would have picked one.
I don't think I've done a restaurant
Remind me
review
never to
since
do
I
an
was
Edgewater
like
restaurant.
17 or 18 years old, back in the was it Foursquare days?
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
All right. So this isn't so much a Karen, but he kind of talks about a Karen, and I kind of like this because it's a little bit different than what we're used to. This is a 5-star review, so we don't do that here, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
1, 2s, -6.
Yeah, I caught this and I just really liked it.
Let's hear it.
It says 5-star, hands down, everything you could hope for in a bowling alley. Loud drunks, employees that hate their lives, sticky floors, the kind of place you can go number 2 with the door open. Get off your high horse, 1-star reviewers. This is how bowling alleys are supposed to be. Riding the line between a great time and being shut down. Amazing staff. 5 out of 5 will be returning. I was like, that is fantastic.
He gave it a 5-star review because all the crap.
All the shit.
But what do you expect a bowling alley to be?
Yeah. But I guess this one got a lot of 1-star reviews for being that kind of bowling alley. I've been at Wildwood, New Jersey. Jimmy, you know what I'm talking about. That bowling alley in Wildwood, it is what they were just talking about, and probably worse. I think there was 2 shootings there. Like, it was crazy.
Remind me not to go bowling with you two anytime soon.
It's just where we grew up, man.
Hey, listen, your campaign party will be at a bowling alley. Don't worry, I got you.
But the owner responds on this one. And the owner says, Neil, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. We really appreciate your feedback and hope you come back for the sticky floors.
Notice how he didn't say the staff.
No, come back for the sticky floors.
You know, he made fun of everything in a good way. That was a good come on, Karen.
It was. And you like
he
to
didn't
see that.
expect anything. It's a bowling alley made in 1974, opened, and it's 2004 when he wrote. It was like, what do you expect 30 years later? No, the carpet's still the same.
It is. And the shoes are still the same, too.
Yeah. Your great grandfather put his foot in those shoes.
And Jimmy, you've seen them ones in Wildwood. They are definitely at least 30 years old. Yeah.
So it's nothing short than a come on, Karen.
Oh. But, Anthony, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And we'll see you as running for next mayor, Anthony.
Hey, we'll keep you posted.
All right.
But remember, check out our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the Twitter we don't use, at Somewhat Tipsy Pod. And remember, on YouTube, like, share, and hit that notification button. Thanks, y'all.